Chapter 2. The Bloodied Ring. "Nancy!" Bess shrieked, backing away from the table as wisps of sulfurous smoke drifted through the tent. Where did she go? How could she just vanish? "Stay back, Bess," Nancy cautioned, her voice calm but her pulse racing. Nancy looked down at her open palm. Resting in her hand was the small item Madame Zora had pressed into it, a heavy silver signet ring set with a rectangular deep green emerald. A smear of fresh, wet blood wiped across the top of the gemstone. Nancy carefully wrapped the ring in a clean linen handkerchief from her pocket and turned her attention to the back of the tent. Tucked behind a heavy velvet tapestry, she discovered a slit cut cleanly through the canvas wall, an escape hatch hidden from the eyes of unsuspecting patrons. Outside the slit lay the dusty grass behind the midway, marked by fresh, hurried boot prints leading into the shadows between the painted carnival wagons. "She didn't vanish by magic," Nancy said, pointing to the slit. "Someone pulled her out, or she fled in a hurry. That flashbang outside was a deliberate distraction." "Look," Bess whispered, pointing to the table. Beside the crystal ball lay Madame Zora's velvet coin purse, completely untouched. If this was a routine robbery, the thief had ignored the cash and taken the fortune-teller herself. "Help! Someone help!" a voice shouted from the midway. Nancy and Bess pushed through the front tent flaps and stepped back into the chaotic crowd. A small cloud of acrid white smoke still hung in the air near a game booth called the High Striker. A tall, burly man in a striped vest, the booth's barker, was trying to calm a jostling group of fairgoers. "Just a bit of pyrotechnic misfire, folks. Nothing to worry about," he bellowed, though his darting eyes betrayed his alarm. As Nancy approached, she noticed a slender young man in grease-stained overalls ducking behind the booth, frantically trying to hide a metal canister behind a stack of wooden milk crates. "Excuse me," Nancy said, stepping into his path. The young man jumped, dropping a pair of heavy iron pliers. He had dark, soot-smudged cheeks and a fresh, jagged cut across his right palm, wrapped hastily in a dirty rag, a rag stained with the exact same shade of red Nancy had seen on the emerald ring. I didn't mean no harm, miss," the boy stammered, pulling his injured hand behind his back. "It was just a smoke pot. Jasper told me to set it off to create a little grand finale for the High Striker act." "Who is Jasper?" Nancy asked smoothly, her eyes narrowing on the boy's bandage. "And how did you cut your hand?" "Jasper Finch, the carnival's rig hand," he blurted out. "And I cut it on a loose nail on the baggage wagon this morning, I swear." Before Nancy could press further, a loud, booming voice cut through the noise. "What's the commotion here?" A tall man with a sharp mustache, wearing a tailored wool suit and a wide-brimmed fedora, pushed through the crowd. He carried an ornate wooden walking stick and glared at the young worker. "Balthazar Vance," Bess whispered to Nancy, pointing to a painted poster nearby. "He's the head talker for the sideshows." Balthazar's dark eyes swept over Nancy and Bess, stopping cold when his gaze fell on the velvet tent of Madame Zora behind them. "Miss Drew, isn't it?" Balthazar said, his voice dropping into a low, honeyed baritone. "I suggest you and your friend enjoy the rides. The carnival has its own way of handling minor mishaps, and we don't kindly take to outsiders prying into our business." Want to read along? Get full chapter transcripts and new episode alerts sent straight to your inbox. Sign up using the link in the description box. Just copy and paste it into your browser.